Good evening, everyone. My name is Jerry Cassady, and I am the Director of Member Services here at the American Angus Association. I, along with Chris Stallo tonight, Chris is the Chief Operating Officer here at the Association, and we'd like to welcome you to this version of the Angus University titled Investing in Inventory. Tonight's discussion is really going to focus around submitting data, performance information on your calf crop to the Angus Herd Improvement Records Program, which is better known as AHIR. Now, a little background on AHIR. This is a program that was started way back in 1958. So for decades, we've had members submitting performance information to this program. In return, initially, they got things like average daily gain calculated and in-herd ratios. That led to our current EPDs that we utilize today as genetic prediction tools. From that, we developed dollar indexes, bioeconomic indexes to better illustrate the profit potential of our calves. And then finally, we've incorporated genomic information in these genetic predictions as well. So as you can see, a lot of advancement has occurred over the last 60 years when we start thinking about performance data and how it results in economic return for our members and their customers. The American Angus Association is very committed to improvement, and we're not going to rest on our laurels today and be satisfied with where we're at. We'd like to continue to improve, which leads us to our discussion tonight. We're going to talk to you about a new reporting program called inventory reporting. So inventory reporting is just going to be another option to submit data to the Angus Association. It will help us increase the quantity of data, but more importantly, it will also help us improve the quality of the data that's submitted. And we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get into the benefits of the program. So stay tuned as we cover all these benefits that we're going to talk about and also the details of the inventory reporting program. At any point during tonight's discussion, if you have questions, you can submit those questions to Chris or myself through the Q&A feature that's at the bottom of your screen. All you have to do is hit the Q&A button, type in the chat box, and then hit send. At the end of the presentation, we will compile the questions that we received from the audience tonight and provide some answers for you. So again, thank you for joining us. We're excited to have you participating in tonight's discussion. So I'll go on to our slide deck. And our first slide talks about the AHIR program that I mentioned. And our Angus membership has long known the importance of submitting accurate performance information on individual calves that are born on their farm or ranch. Tonight's discussion is going to talk about inventory reporting, which is a little bit of a change in the mindset of reporting information to the association. So rather than submitting information on individual calves, you're going to identify who your cow herd, your active cow herd inventory is, and submit data on all of those cows. And this is a little bit of a change in mindset, but it leads to a better data set in the long run. The benefits of submitting this type of information is that it's going to give us the opportunity to capture what we call really hard to reach traits. And I'm really excited about the process that your staff here at the association has created, a process to participate that's very easy to follow. And I think you'll agree at the end of the presentation that we've worked hard here at the association to make this easy and simple to follow. So it allows us to reach those hard to reach traits that our commercial sector is asking for. They want more information based on the maternal side. So if we look at things like fertility and the maternal traits that go along with that, at the end of the day, this will lead to the longevity EPD that we all are striving to get to. With that, if you account for all of your cows, not just the ones that are producing registered calves for that particular year, if you account for all of your cows, that will give us disposal information and reason designations for cows that don't have a calf. So what we end up with is the why and the when if a cow doesn't stay in the herd. So if we can document this information, that's especially informative to developing a longevity EPD. I'll give you a little bit of a story. I shared this story at the National Convention a couple of weeks ago, and I think it's relevant to tonight's discussion. The story that I shared was a story about some folks that entered a running race. And many of you who know me know that I like to run every morning, start my day that way. And I've done that for quite a while. And I used to be involved in some competitive racing. And so this story, I like to use this analogy to help understand why this type of reporting would end up in more meaningful data. So let's say I run a race with two other fellow employees here at the association. I'm going to run a race with our Chief Financial Officer, Kenny Miller, and our mailroom coordinator, Matt Rivera. We're all runners. We all like to start our day with a short run. So if we were to run a race, the three of us, I'm pretty sure that Kenny would come in first, Matt would come in second, and I would come in third. So based on us three, the average runner in the group is Matt. So if we were to get ratios on this group, Matt would ratio 100, Kenny would ratio above 100 because he finished first and he was faster, and I would ratio way below 100 because I finished last. Okay, easy enough to understand. So let's take a look if we added 97 other runners to this race. Same course and the same time on the stopwatch for Kenny, Matt, and myself. So all of these 97 runners that we add to the race are all slower than me. So now Kenny comes in first, Matt comes in second, I come in third. But think about where the average is now. It's way down to the 50th runner. So all three of us are way, way above average. So all three of us would have a ratio in this group way above 100. So if you think about reporting data and only reporting those better performers, you don't really give the superior calves the benefits that they deserve. So by reporting all of the data, even the poorer performers, you give credit to those superior performing calves, the credit that they deserve. So this comprehensive look at this data will give you a lot better snapshot of what the real performance is of those calves. So you take away some of the bias that's inadvertently added to reporting when you individually report the calves. So I hope that quick story is helpful. I think in the long run, you will agree with me that if we have a more accurate database, that we would then have less risk in our genetic predictions that we in turn provide to our commercial customers, and they will make fewer breeding mistakes. So the next slide summarizes these benefits, and I really do believe the benefits of this inventory reporting program are twofold. I think we get a more comprehensive database with more meaningful results when we eliminate that bias, and it also allows us to characterize the maternal traits that we are looking for, health, even fertility, to lead to the longevity EPD that we all are looking for. So this program is for everyone. It's for any size operation, large or small. And as I mentioned, when we get into the details of the program, I hope you agree that it's easy enough for anyone to participate. So with that, I'm going to introduce Chris Stallo, our Chief Operating Officer, is going to join us, and he's going to talk about the details of the program. Chris?
Thanks, Jerry, for walking us through that why and the reason why we've made an effort to move forward with this. So with that, I'm going to walk through some of the details of the program. So with inventory reporting, there's two different enrollment dates. One is January and one is July. And we broke those down into two different enrollment dates to suit both fall calving operations and spring calving operations both. For each enrollment date, there is what we call an enrollment period. So the enrollment period for the January enrollment, which is open right now, runs from November through the middle of January. And for the July enrollment, it runs from the beginning of May through the end or through the middle of July. And what we're doing during this inventory reporting is we're going through and having you all define who your active females are on your place of operation at that time. The cost for this is $2 per female that's enrolled, and that $2 is actually applied to the next 12 months calf crop. One question that we do get periodically is, once you do the enrollment, are there any other fees applied for those females? And the answer to that is no. You can submit those birth weaning records out of those calves in that inventory, and there is no additional cost for those. The requirements for inventory reporting are for each female that's in your inventory at the beginning of the season is we need a calf reported out of that female, or we need a reason code why there was no calf, or a disposal code for the cow. And by having all that information given to us, that's what helps make the database complete, and that's what helps make us start working towards that longevity EPD. So where do you go through and do the inventory reporting enrollment at? You actually use AAA login to do that. If you do not have a AAA login account, it's easy enough to go on our website, the upper right-hand corner, and you can sign up for that. Once you get logged in, it's right there on your dashboard on the center on the right-hand side. There's a button for enroll in inventory reporting. And what we've done with the reporting is we've really taken a step back and looked at this to try to make it as simple as possible for members of all sizes to enroll their females in the program. And the way we've did that is we've looked at it and set it up in a wizard interface. And what we mean by a wizard interface is there are previous and next buttons. So we've maintained some consistency across the tabs. And so on this, there's a previous and next buttons to kind of navigate through that. There's a start over button. So you can get in the middle of this, and if you needed to, for whatever reason, you can click that start over button and it will basically wipe out any changes that you've made. Don't worry, there'll be a prompt that says, are you sure you wish to start over? And actually roll you all the way back to the beginning of this. That way you can go back to the beginning and start over if you want to. On that same thing, we've also set it up where it automatically saves your work as you're working through the wizard. So say you get in the middle of defining your active inventory, say you get through it and you get a phone call. You can log out, take that phone call, come back the next day, a week later, whatever it would be, and you can actually start back up again, and the work that you've done will be automatically saved as you're working through it. And there's tabs to track the progress along the top. What we've got it set up right now is for 5 different tabs to actually walk through that, and it kind of helps you keep track of your progress as you're working through it. The second tab, besides the welcome one that you'll go through, is an owner's tab, and that will show any owner-operator combinations. So think of it as if you have a family operation and then you've got kids as part of the operation and you're submitting contemporary group data together on all those females, you'll want to make sure that you have all of those codes checked. You can uncheck codes that you do not want enrolled. Think about this as maybe it would be cooperator herds, where you don't actually turn in all your weights together because you don't run those cattle together. You can uncheck those ones and just enroll just your herd if that's what you're wanting to do there. The cows tab, this is the one that you will actually spend the most time on, and this is where you will define your active inventory and your inactive inventory. By default, what we've done here at the association is to kind of go through that and say, what is our best guess of what your active inventory is? And by doing that, what we've come up with is any female, a heifer that's 12 months of age or older will be in your active inventory. And then any cow that's had a calf in the last 2 years, she will also be in your active inventory. Any other females that would be on your operation that would be in your herd inventory here at the association would show up in your inactive inventory. So if you've never gone through and cleaned up those animals, you would see them in that inactive inventory side. There are additional search and filter options available here at the top, and we'll walk through those in the next slide here. The basis of this thing here, of the cows tab, is you're moving your females from one side, from your active inventory to your inactive inventory. A member can actually go through this and go through their active inventory one animal at a time if they want to, and they can move their animals over to the inactive inventory and vice versa. And again, remember, every time you move one of those animals over, it's getting saved at that point in time. You also have the ability to sort columns here on the grids. So by default, these come in with your oldest females listed first. So you can walk through those females and see those that way. If you would like to sort those by tag or tattoo, you can do that as well. And again, you can do this inside of login and on all other grids. You can also do it here. Want to spend some time on the additional search and filter options that are available. There's some different things here that will make it a little bit easier to go through those lists. So think of the find animal there at the top, where you can actually search by a tag or tattoo or a registration number, and it will go through either in your active inventory or your inactive inventory and find that cow and bring it to the top of that list so you can see where it's at. There's also filter options available. The filter options are more for subsets of data, if you will. You can search inside of your inventories, your active one or your inactive one, and you can search for cows that are born between these birth ranges. You can also go through and look at calves or cows that have had a calf born in the last so many months. So say, for example, you want to go through and search for any of the females that have had a calf in the last 3 years in your inactive inventory, you could do that there as well. There's also the ability to activate all and inactivate all. How you can use this is, say, for example, your operation made a decision this year to actually go through and call any female that's older than 9 years of age. You can plug in the older birth year range there, filter your active inventory, go through, look at it, and from that standpoint, you could actually inactivate all those animals at one time and not have to go through those one at a time that way. There's also export and import file options. So from here, if somebody would want to, they can actually export their entire herd, go offline, open it in a spreadsheet program such as Excel, and go through that and change the first column from a yes, no, and tell us which ones are active in their file. From that, they would actually be able to go back into here and import that file at a later time, and all those animals would show up in their inventory that way. The next tab that shows up on here is the payment tab. It shows a summary of the animals that are in their inventory, kind of tells them how many there are and the price that it is. And there's also a number down here that says that how many animals will be canceled from that inventory. We want you to make sure that you don't worry about those animals that are canceled. If they're no longer in your herd, you can still go through login and you can actually access the progeny records of those animals as well. From there, you will actually enter your payment information, and from that, you will actually complete your enrollment. The next tab, the 5th tab here, is a confirmation of the enrollment. And again, it's just a summary of the enrollment that you just did. And also you'll get an email with this information in it as well. So one of the things that we've had out there since 2012 is MaternalPlus. And we have members that have been enrolled in MaternalPlus since that time frame. And we want to thank you guys for your dedication to that program. You all should have received an email communication from the association. All of your dates have been moved to either January or July. If you're not satisfied with that date that was chosen based off of your enrollment date, reach out to us here at the association, and we'd be happy to make that change for you. The people that are enrolled in MaternalPlus will utilize the existing screens that are already in place for checking requirements met, and will use that wizard to actually go through and meet the enrollment, but they will use the forms that they're used to today to see what has not met the requirements of that. The existing benefits do remain intact, and that does include receiving calving ease direct, birth weight, and weaning weight EPDs on those unregistered calves. And here recently with the change here in November, the EPD pedigree lookup will now display the MaternalPlus logo for any female that is enrolled in the program. And again, anybody that is enrolled in inventory reporting will have the ability to earn that MaternalPlus designation after they've been in that program for a year. So with that, we're going to go through and see what questions that you guys might have and see if we can answer some of those questions for you all.
What are the minimum requirements for inventory reporting?
So the minimum requirements, as we stated, for each female that we have in the inventory, we need to know if she's had a calf. And if a calf is reported, that's great. That satisfies that requirement. If not, we need to know a disposal code or the reason why she did not have a calf.
Okay, that makes sense. That way you're, again, characterizing that cow herd, the active cows, and the reasons why they wouldn't have a calf or if they were disposed of.
Yep.
So the next question came from the audience. What does it cost to enroll in inventory reporting?
So to enroll in inventory reporting is $2 per female that you enroll. And as a reminder, when you pay that enrollment fee up front, there's no other fees paid for those calves that are born out of those females throughout the year.
Okay, so I also have a follow-up. It says if we enroll cows, it's $2 per cow, and we get free birth weight entries instead of paying $3 currently for those birth weight entries. Would that be accurate?
That is accurate, yes. As a reminder, as Jerry stated up front, the individual reporting option is $3, and that still does apply if you're not enrolled inventory reporting at the $2 fee. But once you enroll, there are no other fees for those calves that you report there.
So to be clear, for the benefit of our membership, individual reporting is staying as is today. You can still individually report calves just like you have been at the $3 level.
Yes, that stays.
This is an additional option to report based on the cow herd or the inventory at $2 per cow.
Yep, that is exactly right.
Okay. Okay, the next question, what group of calves will inventory reporting apply to?
So for these individuals that are enrolling in the January enrollment, it's for any calf that would be reported in that next 12 months. So think about it as your upcoming calf crop.
So what if I'm going to enroll today, I'm thinking about my 2021 calf crop.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So you pay in advance for what you're going to report for the next calf crop.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. If my females are canceled, can I see their data?
You can actually see their data today inside of login if females are canceled. So on any female that you do have canceled, you can go through the cow production area on login and you can access those production records just like you do today. Yes.
Very good. And if you read the membership tips column, I actually wrote an article about that. So be sure and look for that in the Angus Journal. Okay, the next question, can I enroll commercial cows into inventory reporting?
Yes, not only can you enroll commercial cows, you can actually enroll cows if you have other breeds on your property. You can enroll those into the system as well.
Okay. Okay, one more question. Do I have to pay anything else after I enroll my cow inventory?
No, once you pay that $2 fee on those cows that you enroll, there are no other fees that you have to pay. Yep, that is correct.
Okay, next one. Where will I enroll if I'm already enrolled in MaternalPlus? And what is the difference?
So if you're enrolled in MaternalPlus, you will use the wizard to go through and accept your inventory. You will utilize the existing screens that are available today for MaternalPlus to go through and actually figure out which ones have met and have not met the criteria. But once they've met, you'll go through the wizard just like you would otherwise.
Very good. Next, what do I do if I accidentally cancel a cow that I didn't mean to cancel, and now I need to report date on that calf?
Now, we know that doesn't ever happen. That never happens. If that does happen, it's an easy phone call, easy email to the association. We will get that female reinstated, and then she will show up in their list going forward. And then they'll be able to report weights out of those calves as well.
So if I did that and she didn't appear on my initial inventory, would that calf be at the $3 level because she's individually reported?
Correct.
Okay.
And then once the next year rolls around, if she's still in your inventory at that time and you pay for her, then she'll be back at the $2 level.
Because she was part of the inventory.
Yep, she was part of that initial enrollment in the inventory.
Got it. Okay, next it says, when is the best time to enroll in inventory reporting?
What we've told members when they've called in to ask that question is to enroll after your current calf crop is weaned and before your next one is starting to begin calving. That way, you've got those bred females and stuff there. You can make decisions about which ones you're wanting to enroll for that next 12 months.
Okay, so can you give us a review of the enrollment dates?
Yep. So there's two different enrollment dates. One is January and one is July. And another question that we do get from time to time is, I've got both a spring calving herd and a fall calving herd. How can I do both? And the answer right now is no. You have to figure out which one you have most of your herd in, and you have to choose that particular one.
So if the majority of my calves are in the spring and I have a few falls, I need to report based on that spring group.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And that would be the January enrollment timeframe.
Got it. Okay, here's another question from our audience. We already give disposal data on the cattle that we cull. How is this different?
It is not different. You would give that data using whatever tools that you're using today, whether that's through login, whether that's through AIMS, whatever software that you're doing that for. It just satisfies the requirement for inventory reporting. So those disposal codes that you give throughout the year on your inventory, that helps satisfy the requirements of inventory reporting.
Very good. Okay. Do I have to register twice if I have both a spring calving cow herd and a fall calving cow herd?
Nope, it would just be one time, and the member has to figure out which one they would want to be in, whether it's in the spring or in the fall.
Very good. Okay, here's a really good question. A question that I actually got today on the phone. Do recips count as an active female?
Short answer to that is yes. Recips will count as an active female in your inventory. If you have them in your inventory on your initial enrollment, you will just pay the $2 up front. Now, if you don't have all those recips in there, and whenever you submit the calves out of those, if the recip is not enrolled in inventory reporting, there will be a $3 fee at that point in time.
So the follow-up to that one, what if they are a recip for this year and also have their own calves in a subsequent year?
So at the beginning of the year, whenever they do the enrollment, you would account for that cow, and it would meet the requirement based off of the recip part of it there as having a calf that way. And if she actually has a natural calf the following year, it would still meet the requirement and it would still be in the inventory. We do get that question quite a bit too.
Yep.
And speaking of that, I'll follow up here. Donor cows that you have on your operation, you would want them listed in your inventory as well.
Okay. Are there codes for cows that are being carried over to the next breeding season so they aren't penalized for not calving.
Yes, there are reason codes. When you go to submit that mature cow data, there are reason codes that you can list in there to tell us why that female did not have a calf for that particular year. And when you give us those reason codes versus a disposal code, it doesn't cancel them out of your herd. It just tells us why, and it helps meet that requirement. And then they will be in there the following year.
So this is a good question, and I'm really glad you're here. How does this work for AIM software?
So with the AIM software, that import and that export file option that we walked through earlier, there's a way where we have a report here that if somebody has their herd in AIMS and they've got a pen set up in AIMS, they can call us, we can get them a report, they can export that file through AIMS, through that report, go back in and import it, and then that will actually tell us which females are active in their herd. And something that I've not touched base on is when data is submitted to the association, it can be done through AIMS, it can be done through login, it could be done through third-party software that's out there as well, Excel files or paper. The data that you submit to the association doesn't change. That's through whatever platform that you've been using before.
Good point. Here's a common question. Do you have to re-enroll a cow each year?
Yes, you do have to re-enroll not just your specific cow, but every year you will be required to go in at the beginning of your season, whether that's January or July, and actually tell us who is in your inventory. So that cow, once it meets its requirements, the next year will automatically show up there, and then you can just go through and make sure you've got all your culls out before that.
So the next year, establishing that inventory should be much easier than the first year.
Yes, it should be. And you know, I really hope that that work that we've done to define that active inventory up front, I really do think that will account for 95 to 98% of the members' herd of their active females there because of us doing that stuff up front, that work up front for them.
Yeah, I get really excited about that feature of this program because the work that went into that was monumental, but the benefits are passed on to the members because of the ease of establishing the inventory now. So I think that'll be a big part of the success of this program. Okay, will members receive EPDs on unregistered calves like the MaternalPlus cattle currently do?
So for any member that's currently enrolled in MaternalPlus, they will still receive those EPDs on those unregistered animals. For anybody that's brand new to inventory reporting, you will not receive those EPDs right out the gate. But off of that first year, once you've met those requirements, and if you meet the requirements for MaternalPlus, which are weaning weights on those calves and then heifer breeding records, that following year, you would actually receive EPDs on those animals.
Got it. Okay, what about registration costs? Do they remain the same?
Yes, registration costs, transfer costs, AI certificate, all those other costs remain the same. This is specifically for that AHIR enrollment fee.
So nothing's changed there.
Nope, nothing has changed there.
So we just have a reduced cost for data submission if you participate in this program. Do you pay a fee for MaternalPlus on top of inventory reporting? 2 fees if enrolled in both.
So let's back up a little bit on that. I want to make sure that we're clear. It's not MaternalPlus or inventory reporting. When you enroll going forward, you're enrolling in inventory reporting and you earn the MaternalPlus designation based off that. So anybody that's already in MaternalPlus, they will automatically get that designation and they're going to be enrolling in inventory reporting. For new folks getting into inventory reporting, there's just the one fee. There is not the 2 different fees. So think of it as one program, and it's kind of like levels on a reward card. If you use so much, you get to this level. If you do so much, you get to this level. Well, the basic entry for inventory reporting is here. And then based off the data that's submitted, you earn this other designation, but there's not a different fee increase between it.
So inventory reporting is the second option. We have individual reporting, inventory reporting, and MaternalPlus is part of inventory reporting.
Correct. MaternalPlus is part of inventory reporting.
Got it. So MaternalPlus is $3 per cow and inventory reporting is $2, and both covers the weight submissions, why pay one more dollar for MaternalPlus?
So going forward, starting in January, all the MaternalPlus re-enrollments will be the $2 price as well. So there will not be that difference in price there.
Very good. Okay, here's another question. I calve equally spring and fall. How does this help my entire herd if I can only report half of my herd? Why can you only choose one?
So with that, I mean, you can report your whole herd throughout the next 12 months, but you have to tell us at the beginning of the year or in the middle of the year who all of your active females are that will have a calf in that following 12 months. So it's not that they can't enroll their other ones. When they're enrolling, say their spring here in January, they would also tell us who are their falls that they're going to be keeping for that enrollment there as well. Where that gets kind of a little bit tricky there is you may not know which heifers you're going to be breeding at that point in time or which ones you're going to keep at that time. And right now we just have the one date.
So it's really that this enrollment date is really about establishing the inventory.
Yeah, it's a snapshot in time, if you will.
Yeah.
On this particular day, here's my active inventory, and knowing that it's going to flux and ebb and flow throughout the year, and we can still account for that with additional females to submit the information off of.
Very good. What are the reporting differences between inventory and MaternalPlus?
So inventory reporting, we talked about the requirements for that. A calf reported, it could just be a calf record. It doesn't have to be a birth weight. It doesn't have to be a weaning weight. It could be a genomically tested calf. That satisfies that female's requirement. Disposal code or reason code for the dam if they did not have a calf. That's inventory reporting. For MaternalPlus, for all those calves that are dropped, we ask that you send us weaning weights on those calves and then heifer breeding records. We want those heifer breeding records on those ones that you're keeping back and breeding there as well.
So establish your inventory and you're well on your way to this designation if you so choose.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Can cows that are mistakenly canceled be reinstated for no extra fee? There is currently a fee for MaternalPlus.
So any female that is mistakenly canceled can be reinstated, and there is no fee for that reinstate. Again, just send us an email here at the association, pick up the phone and give us a call, and we will reinstate that animal for you, and then it will be in your list going forward. The same holds true with MaternalPlus. There is no fee for re-enroll or for reinstating those females if they got canceled that way. So it doesn't make a difference if they're in MaternalPlus or just inventory reporting. If they've accidentally canceled an animal, give us a call. We'll add it back in. And as we talked about earlier, when a weight is reported out of one of those females, that's when they'll be charged $3 because those cows were not in that initial inventory.
Okay. Here's another question. Do I receive a rebate if a cow loses a calf and there's no weight to report?
No, there would be no rebate given based off of that. You would want to make sure you give us the reason why that cow lost that calf, but there is no rebates based off of that. And that's part of the reason that the decision was made to make this a $2 fee and not keep it at the $3 fee like the individual is. So there is some incentive going to this, and that's why we still keep that way.
Got it. Okay, here's another one. If a donor cow does not have a calf because she was being flushed, is there a reason code for that?
There is a reason code for that. The reason codes are in the 50s. I'm trying to remember what they are, but I think I want to say it's like used an ET program or a donor cow is what that is. But yes, there is a reason code for those donor cows that don't have a natural calf.
Okay. Here's another one. Would we need to create a special pen in Ames for our active females we have enrolled in inventory reporting?
You would not have to do that. You could use your existing pens that you have today and again, use the existing ways that you submit the weights to the association. If you do want to use one of those pens to enroll in inventory reporting, reach out to Jerry or I or somebody in member services, and we will get you that report that will make that simple for you.
Okay, very good. Well, I'm not seeing any more questions. Hang on, there might be one coming in. Yep, we do have one more coming in. Nope, I guess not. Okay. So with that, I want to thank everyone for participating in tonight's webinar. This is a great opportunity for us to reach the membership in a very efficient way. So again, thank you for your participation in tonight's webinar.
Yes, we also want to remind everybody to join us in the spring. We will relaunch Angus University and have new webinars in the spring. Watch your emails that you've signed up for. Watch communication channels from the association there as well, and you'll be receiving those here coming up to tell you what's coming on there. After we finish the session tonight, the webinar tonight, you will receive a survey. We ask that you take that survey. That helps us define things that we can do to improve on our end, what other topics that you'd want to listen to and learn about, and helps us further this educational purpose here. And a reminder that everybody that is on here will also receive that video link in the email in the near future, and this video will be posted online. And like Jerry said, I just want to thank everybody again for your time tonight, taking time out of your night tonight to learn about inventory reporting. And as we've said, if you have any questions whatsoever, reach out to Jerry or myself or any member up in member services. We'd be happy to answer any and all questions that you have. And from all of us here at the association, we want to wish you guys all a Merry Christmas.
Very good. And also a Happy New Year. Have a good evening, everyone.